All rise, football fans, as the Welt Rheaume Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welt Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All righty, there he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good. I was out at the Panthers Stanley Cup Final Game 3 last night, and then it gets started on mini camp for 3 days here. Sometimes they never even get to the third day, but yeah, I mean, exciting times to see the Panthers. I saw you joking about you finally get to cover a winning team, so well, that is true.
Well, right. That was the joke I had running on Twitter, and with me, I've always got running jokes, so I've got a new one for you now. I just thought about it.
Ooh.
You're like a full-time baseball reporter.
What are you saying?
You're like a full-time baseball reporter right now. See, I'm going like way over your head. You have no idea where I'm going right now.
What do you mean by that? Well, a full-time baseball reporter? Because I'm covering all throughout the summer.
For a short amount of time, you are a big-time, full-time baseball reporter, because covering the Panthers, you're covering the major leagues. Now you went and covered the Dolphins. You're covering instructional fucking baseball. Way to go, Mike. Yeah.
I'm getting option back down to the minors.
You don't even get to cover high A, bro. Your ass with the Dolphins is covering instructional league, man. Right? Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah. Getting option back and forth, a fringe major leaguer, getting the opportunity, a little call up to cover a championship caliber team.
To cover game 3 and not game 4, and you go, wow, this is what it looks like for a fan base that follows like a real team, and wow, look, real toughness, you know. But then again, if you ask Tua today, can you feel it, bro? Do you feel that culture change? Are you feeling it here in minicamp? Are you feeling it? I want to know. Are you feeling it?
It's hard to really feel a full culture change in a minicamp. So, you know, they're saying the right things. They're trying to get it started. You do get that started now in the offseason. Obviously, you have to set the tone. If you are going to change the culture, you have to set the tone now. But the results will show. You know, there's nothing they can say, nothing I can say at this point. It's the results will show when it comes time to see that culture change manifest itself, and then we'll look back and say whether they were actually, speaking to something when they said all that, or that was all a bunch of BS like we've heard in the past and same old.
Which is usually what it's going to be, because let's be honest, culture changes don't happen in the off season. They don't happen in a month. They don't happen in a half a season. They don't happen in a season. The major league team that you cover, they didn't get there on 1 year, dude. It started 7-8 years ago when Viola took over, and then they started to figure out who they were, and then they had to get rid of a general manager, and then they had to find the right head coach, and then they had to find the right players, and they had to trade their second best player for another star. They had to do a lot of things. They weren't tough, so they had to go get a Radko Gudas and other guys to start building that culture of toughness. But they never got to that point to where they're at now. It takes years. You just don't become a tough team. You just don't become a tough culture. You don't just become a winning culture, just like, it's the switch. No, dude, I know we live in a microwave society, but let's also come back to reality. Let's hope they've taken a little tiny step. But if anybody thinks that that's going to be solved this coming season, come on, dude. Let's get realistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you are coming off a season where that culture wasn't there, and so it's not something like it's been here and it's been brewing and you're building up to this. It's you are trying to change it right now, and it does take time. Like we were talking in the media workroom, me and some of the other guys, like how you don't just announce a culture change. It's not like you put signs up like the culture has changed. It does take time. So. You know, you try if you're going to try and change the culture in 1 year, then you do have to start it in the offseason. But obviously it's a hard ask to flip the switch and get it going from one season to the next that way.
Yeah, and in that in the seasons as you're changing, you will have failures and then you will have successes, and then you will learn from those, and then they won't happen again. But that's not what it's been for this team for decades now. It's kind of the same malaise. You don't get out of the 40 years of funk, and all of a sudden that you just, here's some pixie dust and it's all over. Now let's get to the real one, because you posted the video, and you all should go to David Furones _ on X and follow him, and you'll get a lot of the good stuff that he puts out there. And one of the things he put, which I retweeted that also, Tua talked about, like he understands that he has to take care of his body and be available and those kind of things. And I retweeted, that's great. Tua has to now walk that talk.
Yeah.
Because he has to learn to take care of his body and not be irresponsible with it. And then I put Marino, Breeze, and Brady never had this issue because they knew they were statues. And he needs to come to the realization that he's a statue, and he doesn't think he's a statue. And that's the problem there. So I love that he said it, but man, it fell on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? Because you say one thing, but when push comes to shove, that dude will do whatever it takes to try to make a play. He just will.
Yeah. You're feeling kind of like it's the boy who cried wolf. Like you're not going to believe him now, but no, I mean I hear you. Because I think he knows it himself that his actions have shown otherwise, and he even spoke about it how it's fighting that whatever it is inner voice that's telling him go make a play, you can make this play, go be a warrior out there. And his desire to do something for his team. So he's got to fight that back, and then just realize that the best thing he can do for his team is keep himself available, which if that's on a 2nd and 11 where you're rolling out and you have nothing available to you and you just throw it into the dirt in front of an eligible receiver who's well covered and live for 3rd down, then that's a win. Yeah, actually, we were watching the mini camp today and saw one play where he did that exact scenario. It was rolling out to the left, players were well covered, and he just threw it to the feet of a receiver. And sure, someone made a little bit more of it, like we said, oh yeah, good throwaway, and then someone said very good throwaway, and we were kind of joking, but there's something to that though, because that's the type of play that can either keep him available for the long term, if in the off chance that it goes completely awry and he takes a huge hit, just standing back there trying to wait for someone to get open and wait till the last second to get rid of the ball, and still takes a big walloping.
Yeah. So talk is cheap. Let's see if his actions, because if he actually follows through, believe it or not, the Dolphins will win more games than they can. Actually, that's if you keep him healthy, and if he chooses to stay healthy, then that'll be huge for this team. The other thing, I wasn't on yesterday, unfortunately, because I was coming back from Tampa and Metallica weekend, which was
that's right.
Yeah, which was awesome. Both concerts, we had a great time. But I got back late, so I didn't do the morning show. I didn't feel like it. So I only did the Panthers post game. But when I got home late Sunday night, I watched the Channel 7 newscast, and I watched Drew Rosenhaus's propaganda every Sunday night. And The key words for Jonnu Smith that I saw, and again, you got to see more in the press conference today. He's not there. He's not going to be there this week. But I knew he wouldn't be there, and I knew it's done already. But Drew told you it was done too on Sunday night because he said we're in discussions with the Miami Dolphins. They're not in negotiations. They're in discussions with the Miami Dolphins. You got to listen to the English that they're using. And so there are no contract negotiations going on. The man is under contract right now. You should be fined right now, and he's not being fined. And why is he not being fined? Because you're trying to accommodate his trade, period. I mean, it's end of story, right? Like it's over. Jonnu Smith, just like Jalen Ramsay, is gone, dude. Absolutely gone, correct?
That's interesting. Picking apart that word, it was discussions instead of negotiations. I didn't think of that myself, but I did also hear the word fluid.
Viejo.
Hmm?
Yo soy viejo. Yo soy viejo. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, so you have that wisdom, huh? Yeah, where you can identify these, pick these things up. Another word there that stands out to me is fluid. So, which does tell me, to play devil's advocate here, is things can change. So, yeah,
I think it's fluid, and you're in discussions because it's fluid. We don't know where we're going. It's fluid. We don't know what's going to happen, but you're under contract, dude, for this year. Your ass is supposed to be out on the field. There's no reason. You're a holdout now, and you're a holdout because the team refuses to pay you, because the only way you're going to play for this team, dude, you want to play for your sorry ass, and this team that's not going anywhere, you got to pay me. Oh, you're not paying me? Trade me. It's just nobody says it publicly. They're all trying to save face and all that bullshit. But this is just another player, another defection because of the situation. But when he says there are no negotiations, there are discussions, and everything is fluid, that means he's gone, dude. He's gone. He's history. And then today was like the nail on the coffin. Oh, he's not going to be here all week. And then Hal Havid asked the proper question. That's, hey, wait a minute. This is a mandatory mini camp, and so you're not fining a guy that's under contract. Okay, he's not a free agent like you haven't negotiated. No, you're being paid for this season, dude. You need to be out there. So if you're accommodating all of this as a team, then you're accommodating a trade because you don't want him out on the field because you can't afford to get him injured because you can't trade him either now. So now it benefits the Dolphins to keep him on the side, keep him happy, don't fine him. And since you're just in discussions and everything is fluid, that means you're gone. Period.
Clarify one thing there, though, because Mike McDaniel did say Jalen Ramsey's was an excused absence, meaning they wouldn't fine him. But I think he declined to say whether he was fining Jonnu Smith or not. So I might have to play back the audio, but I didn't take that answer as if he was saying that he is not fining Jonnu Smith. I thought he just didn't want to disclose it.
I listened to the audio. It's an understanding. He's not getting fined. There's an understanding here.
Yeah. Now, if you do trade a guy, then you wouldn't be fining him for missing minicamp with a team that's looking to trade him. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, same boat as Ramsay in that case.
They don't want to create any kind of animosity on either side. They want it to be as cordial a parting as possible, so they can make it as possible, a trade without any of the. But really, if you're the other 30 teams, 31 teams, okay, there's problems here. Everybody's leaving this place, and that guy wants out. So you're going to have some leverage in all of this. But they don't want him. See, the Jalen Ramsay situation is already ugly. They're trying to diffuse this as much as possible publicly, but this thing's over, bro.
Yeah, and I think with Jalen Ramsay, they're having trouble finding this trade partner, as we've seen, we've talked about.
Wait a second, bro. Adam Schefter.
I knew it.
Hold on a second. Adam
Yeah.
Schefter said there was a robust market out there for Jalen Ramsay. I'm just saying what was reported. Well, it's June 10th, man. I guess it's not as robust. I guess it's not a hot market, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much you can get for an aging superstar who you've paid a huge contract to, and money that just about every other team in the NFL isn't willing to pay him and match a salary for. So, yeah, I mean, he could be a fit for a team that's competing, needs a corner, slide him in, but it's just at what he's due to make, then Dolphins are going to have to eat up some of that. And it's still not going to be a very desirable draft pick that they get back.
Yeah. And listen, you're an intelligent young man with common sense, and you just displayed all of that right there. You're not a TV personality that's also a reporter that is trying to do an agent a favor. So, see, that's the beauty of it. Since you're not sold out to something, you don't have to just throw something out there for the hell of it, even though it doesn't really burn him in any way. Say, oh, I hear there's a robot, whether it happens or not, whatever, nobody really cares. But I love to have fun with it because we knew at that price tag and everything you just mentioned, there's no robust market or big interest or people really interested in Jalen Ramsay. I knew that's a load of shit, dude. This is going to be a difficult situation. And by the way, everything becomes difficult for the Dolphins because people want to leave. It's not that you're trying to do anything mutually and none of that. In their world, in the Dolphins world, they need Jonnu Smith. They need Jalen Ramsay. The problem is those two guys don't want to be a part of anything that's going on here. That's really the problem.
Well, now I wouldn't say that with Jonnu Smith because I do believe it to be true that his preference would be to earn a higher pay raise in Miami, to stay with the Dolphins at a higher salary. So I do think that is still his priority first and foremost, but I think we're probably just also seeing the Dolphins take a little bit of a hard stance and not be like last year, how everyone and their mother got contract extensions, new deals, and whoever wanted money, got guarantees. So
you want to be here and all that stuff, you know what you do? You go take the field since you're being paid. And you say, hey, I want to be here and I want a new contract. I really want to be here, but I'm being paid right now. And I'm going to show them that I want to be here, but I want a new contract. And then you put baby in a corner at that point.
That's go ball out in practice.
But
that's some old school thinking, though.
Listen, what you're saying, and in Jonnu's world, I believe there was some truth in that. But after watching the entire offseason develop, all the defections, the people leaving, he's hitting 30 in 3 months. He knows this team is not as good as last year's team, or my Lord, the one from 2 years ago. So since you've taken a couple of steps back now, you're looking at it going, bro, what's there for me? This season is not really going anywhere. And if I blow out my knee, what do I have? You want me to come back to this? No, you got to pay me. I think that part has changed, David. Whereas, what you see at what the major league team that you cover, not the instructional league, everybody wants to sell their souls to be part of the Panthers. They'll take less. And I'm sure Bennett will take less in the offseason and stay there. I bet your ass on that. Anything. You saw the other guys do it. They're going to do the same thing, man. You want to be a part of this. So the opposite is happening for the Dolphins. After their buzz from 3 years ago, that shit has died out. And I think that's the same thing for Jonnu Smith. He's viewing the landscape and he's going, bro, there's not a lot here left in the cupboard for me. I need to get paid before I commit any more to these people. So yeah, he'll stay. He'll stay because you pay him the money. But I think when push comes to shove, he'd probably like to get paid and play somewhere else where he actually has a chance to win. And that's what Ramsay's doing too. But he got his money already. That's the difference.
Yeah, Ramsay got his money, and then pretty shortly thereafter that, you end up parting ways with him. But no, I mean, I do believe it. Jonnu Smith, his priority would be, because I see he's got a good relationship with Tua, so he's got his quarterback. He just had the best season of his career, best season for any tight end the Dolphins have had here in this system. Granted, I think there will be an emphasis on getting the ball back to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle next season, so that maybe there's not so much left for Jonnu. But if you're him, yes, you do need to get paid more when you have the season you had. And then also, as we're watching practice today, news came out of a tight end that I'm not sure I even knew his name before today. Oliver, I think was his name, gets a 3-year extension with the Vikings at 20-something million and 19 million guaranteed. So that puts him above Jonnu Smith. And I looked him up. He's a blocking tight end whose career high in receiving yards was 250-something yards last year. So it's like, when you're Jonnu Smith and you're seeing this guy's getting paid that, how am I not going to get paid more than what you're sending my way right now? So as he's hitting, I think he's 30 now or around there.
Right. No, I'm with you. I totally understand that, dude. It's just, I think things have changed. Whereas, yeah, I'll stay, but you got to pay me. And if you're doing that, then you're really not totally in. You know what I'm saying? You're not totally in. And by the way, he just watched Javon Holland play all the way to the end of his contract and not get anything and leave.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
hey, he got a nice payday for a second contract, but that was a different story where at his age, going into his second contract, he was going to get that on the open market based on his potential that he still has, even if last year did not go the way everyone wanted.
you paid all the other guys that you acquired. You didn't pay the guy that you drafted, and so.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I kind of understand because of the knee issues, and he didn't look the same. So
Yeah.
I understand that risk on that one, but it just, the perception is there for Jonnu. That's my point. Over all of it, the perception is there for the guy. I just, wow, man, I don't know. It's a bad situation right now for the Dolphins. Everything's a spin job right now, is what it feels like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and we felt that actually. Just behind me here is earlier today we watched Mike McDaniel talk, and he felt kind of testy, kind of on edge today. As he knew he was going to get a bunch of questions about all this, and I understand as an NFL head coach, you're about to run a mini camp practice. You're concerned about the players you have in this building. I totally get that perspective, but he knew the questions coming were going to be about the Jalen Ramsay stuff, the Jonnu Smith stuff. We did have a question about Zach Sealer because we didn't see him participating during OTA sessions, but he's been here throughout offseason workouts, so nothing to worry with him. And he was out here for minicamp, but it was going to be about a lot of other stuff. Pursuit of Jair Alexander, if the Dolphins are going to do that. We asked him about that. So,
but let me ask you something. Okay. Zach Sealer has more than outplayed his salary.
oh, yeah.
So why is he there?
Yeah. And you do wonder if behind the scenes, if maybe those OTA sessions where we didn't see him, there was something about, hey, just keep me in
but my
mind.
point is
Mhm.
there are no issues being talked about with Sealer. We're the ones creating them and talking about it. Not Drew Rosenhaus nor Zach Sealer at any point talked about they're unhappy. They want more money. They want to leave. Everything that's happened with other players has not happened with Sealer. This has all been generated by the media assuming. Correct?
On Zach, I think it was just a question. It was just we didn't see him, so just wanted to make sure.
By the way, that's not the first time. It's being talked about before. Other people, not just in today's press conference.
Sure.
Other media people have brought it up, whatever, writing or talking about it. I've heard it. I've seen it. So this has all been media created, the Zach Sealer bullshit. And this is what I'm trying to tell you about the Jonnu Smith. If you're really all in with Miami and you want to be here, like Zach Sealer wants to be here, And look at him, bro. He is severely underpaid. There's no complaints. They're not renegotiating. They're not talking about it right now. So everything's kosher. Now, I bet you after this season or 3 quarters into this season, I think that'll change. There'll be some extension. There'll be more money, whatever. I'm sure it's coming. But right now, what we're talking about, the case you're trying to make for Jonnu is the case you have to make for Zach Sealer. Oh, yeah, nothing's going on. He really wants to be here. Look, he's here.
Yeah.
He's severely underpaid, So what about Jonnu? He's paid. I get it. He's underpaid, but that's Drew Rosenhaus's fault, not the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they gave him a 2-year contract. Here it is. A typical 2-year special by Greer. He's done that with many players. Agba, he got 18 sacks out of it for 2 years. So the 2-year special thing helps at times. They did their part. That's just a bad deal created by the agent. So why isn't he here? Zach Sealer's here. So I'm just saying it's kind of odd,
And it's the nature of negotiations in the NFL, because you actually do have to give the Dolphins credit for that signing when they got Jonnu Smith at that price last offseason. And you picked up a guy who was released by the Falcons, and that's how he was available. And you saw the potential for that pass-catching tight end in this offense. And then you get a historic season for any Dolphins tight end in franchise history. So you definitely got your money's worth. So it's kind of like, you stick to it. Like, no, we agreed this was a fair compensation, and now you're going back on us. But then that's just life in the NFL. Is like, if you overpay a guy, then you run into the trouble like you have with Jalen Ramsay, where, okay, if you want to move him, you can't move him. And if he's unhappy, then this happens. And if he is overplaying the contract, now he's coming back to the negotiating table and he wants more money. So it's kind of like it's so tough where you just can't, even when you do win, you can't win.
Right. All right, well, give me one more nugget you picked up today from McDaniel or the players.
Just watching practice. I thought Nick Westbrook-Akine finally had a good practice. I think we hadn't seen much from him in the OTA sessions that were open to the media. So he looked good in red zone drills, caught a couple touchdowns from close in. So you liked seeing that. And we also saw some glimpses of Alexander Madison, the big running back. So again, similar to NWI, I hadn't seen too many big plays, but saw him find some holes hard, hit him hard, display good vision, making a catch, going to the flat and going for yardage. Looked good out there, and some interceptions like the rookie out of Maryland, Dante Trader, had one playing center field deep that Zach Wilson overthrew, and he was going the other way for a pick six. If the play continues, Elijah Campbell had one on a tip ball that Quinn Ewers threw to one of the undrafted wide receivers. Went off his hands, A.J. Henning. And Isaiah Johnson, the undrafted corner from last year's class, who's back now. He had an impressive interception, the way he broke on a ball, and also against A.J. Henning on a play or on a throw that Zach Wilson made, sort of deep sideline. Impressive the way he broke on it and ripped the ball away before it could get to the receiver. So we saw some DBs make some nice plays out there.
Don't forget, this segment is brought to you by Mr. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. Welt and Rheaume, they've been at this for well over 20 years, folks, and they've been supporting our platform from day one, all 5 years: bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Save the number. They have their own adjusters. We're in the storm season. If anything happens here in the state of Florida, do not call the insurance company. You call Welt and Rheaume first. They send their adjusters, and then they call the insurance company for you, so you don't have to deal with that headache. 954-966-4646. Mr. Furones, what do you got going on in the South Florida Sun Sentinel so everyone can check it out?
Covering everything mini camp. So the Jonnu Smith update from earlier, as we found he indeed would. What's that?
He go.
He got.
He gone.
As we found out, he indeed is not here at minicamp. He is gone. He gone from minicamp.
He gone.
At least for sure. And then writing Tua, how he is vowing to protect himself, and we do hope to see that he does so coming to the season. It was actually the first time we heard from Tua since the end of last season when he had that hip injury and he was still trying to see if he could play that finale against the Jets. Said that he'd be available, or no, was he already out? And then he was trying to say that he would play in the playoffs if they made it. So writing up Tua, and then talked to Cam Smith today. So I'm wondering if maybe tomorrow I roll that out. But I know there's going to be other important interviews that we get tomorrow as well. It's a 3-day mini camp, so big week here in Dolphins land.
All right. Follow him on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it, David Furones _ David, we will catch up on Thursday with the recap of minicamp. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This has been another session of the Welt Rheaume Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welt Rheaume, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welt Rheaume can help.